start it, and then.
Okay.
Because I feel like if you click it and I'm like, okay, we're starting, and like you'll forget what you want to say, so you should just start it before.
All right. Well, how about this? I'll start by just speaking for myself and saying that, you know, when it comes to alien videos and alien stuff like that from other worlds, and I always think everything's bullshit straight off the bat. I mean, I do. Whenever I see something, like mainly you go to YouTube and you get on YouTube and, you know, oh, here it is, you know, there's an alien craft and you're looking at it and it's like, you're damn sure that's the Millennium Falcon taking off. And someone CGI'd it in there.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, that's bullshit, you know. And even the ones that are real, I'm still like, okay, you know, it's amazing how all these videos are out of focus. Or they just don't have the range to catch anything. So, and it's all crap. So I just think of most of it is crap. I've seen a couple of videos where I'm pretty damn sure that they're for real. So what I'm basically saying is proving 100% to me that something's real is almost impossible. So having said that, I have found someone who I actually put most of my trust into, and his name is Dr. Stephen Greer. And he not only just walks the walk, but he talks the talk, and he brings the proof with it. You know, that's what I love about Dr. Stephen Greer. Is like, oh, you know, I have the actual documents from Roswell. See, here's the documents, and he'll show them to you. You know, oh, I have, you know, 30 witnesses. You know, line them up, and here they go with their testimony. Buzz Aldrin and all them astronauts, all that was big with me. When you get an astronaut, you know, who's actually been in space, and he's, you know, stating what he knows with Dr. Stephen Greer, that's pretty cool. I mean, that right there convinces me, like, okay, this is the real shit. You know, this is the real deal. So he caught my attention, and I started watching his videos, and there's literally hundreds of videos on there. It ain't hard. He ain't hard to find. So basically, everything that I'm going to be speaking about and saying comes from him. So there ain't no copyright crap we get hit with later. I'm just giving him full credit on everything that I'm saying. Well, unless I say otherwise, but it comes from someone else. But he is the one person who I think, and I don't fully trust him, but you know, for the most part, it's pretty damn close. 85-90% think that he's legit. Now people say, oh, he's bought and paid for. Oh, he's done it. Well, you know what? Let's just start off the bat by saying that Dr. Stephen Greer is a ER trauma surgeon, and he gave that up to do this, to investigate ETs and extraterrestrials. That right there is pretty wild, you know. And he gave up all that. He's broke, you know. I mean, he could be rolling in cash, you know, doing the medical field. And he's basically, well, I'm not gonna say he's dirt broke, but I mean, he's you know, he's not as rich as he could be if he did something else. He has sponsors who support him, and that's how he gets through all this. You know,
so they fund his trips.
Yeah, and you know, he's selling. You know, he's making documentaries, selling books. People view that as always a sellout. No, he's trying to fund. I mean, you know, it ain't free to get Buzz Aldrin and all these people and get the documents and you know, and all this. It ain't free to do that. You have to work at it hard, and you know, that's all of it. So you know, but still, I remain just to. I don't want to say I would give him 100%. I don't know why. I just don't feel like doing it. I think that'd be foolish on my bit, just to do.
So like a 70.
No, I would say like 90.
90.
Because like I said, he brings proof, and he actually has. If you look at he has 2 documentaries. Right. The first one's called Sirius, which is spelled Sirius, I believe, and the second one's called Unacknowledged. In Sirius, in the documentary Sirius, he has an alien body corpse. It's now before anybody gets all excited. It's only about like maybe 6 inches tall. It's still an alien corpse. When you seriously look into it, and you'll see what I'm talking about. It's like a child or something. I don't know. but it's they can't identify what the hell that thing is, and they're thinking, oh, it's fake. Oh, they made it themselves. All right, well,
You're talking about the corpse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, so you mean to tell me they actually made room for veins that going through the bones and stuff like that? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's that detailed. So no, they did not just make that. So yeah, there's a lot of things that he has. I mean, it's an embarrassment of riches. Is the way he put it. There's so much proof, out there. It's embarrassing almost, and people just still, that's it. It's like, oh, okay, and that's all they do. I mean, this shit is real. I guess if you go back to the ancient Sumerian days, like with the artwork that they have and the paintings and all this other kind of stuff from that point forward, ETs have been visiting this earth forever. It's we've been having visitors like forever and stuff like that. The evidence is all there. It's right in your face. It's hidden in plain sight. It's all in your face. The thing is, for us, where it really hit has to be 1940s or 1950s, whenever Roswell happened. Yeah, Roswell. That's everything. It started with Roswell. Here's the thing. As I state before, with you and everybody else, it's a hard pill to swallow, is the way I put it. When you have to be open-minded and think that we're the bad guys in this scenario. The shadow government that is in control of the real government that we have is basically calling the shots, and they're shooting these things down. They're shooting their crafts down. They're doing it to get the technology out of it. The aliens are actually just peaceful. They just want us to just chill out. I promise you, there's never going to be a nuclear war. I promise you, there's never going to be a nuclear war. If what these guys are saying, what Dr. Stephen Greer is saying is true, we're never going to have to worry about nuclear war ever. Because if you watch Unacknowledged, there's these guys who are working on these top secret projects. They said they test these things, they launch them to see what happens, and these things will just come out of nowhere. They'll hit them with some beams, and they'll just knock it out of the air.
Oh wow!
So yeah, that fat boy North Korea, whatever. I ain't worried. Yeah. I'm not worried. I don't think he's gonna do anything. So the aliens we caught their attention whenever we toasted Nagasaki. And
Nagasaki.
Is that what it's called? Japan.
Hiroshima.
I think we dropped 2 bombs.
Yeah.
One was Hiroshima, and I think the other was Nagasaki. Whenever we dropped those bombs, we caught their attention. Is basically what happened. So they came to us, and they're just checking things out, and they didn't like it. According to Dr. Stephen Greer, the entire universe is at peace. I don't know how that is even possible. As an American, as a red-hot-blooded American, I do not see how you can have total inner peace with every species out there. I just don't see it. But okay, let's go with it, And so we're under quarantine. They're keeping us under quarantine. Simply, and I understand why. I mean, if I was an alien and I'm at peace with the universe, and oh hey, we got this one planet called Earth, and these crazy bastards love to kill.
Yeah.
You would not let that you understand what I'm saying? I would not want that out in my backyard. So yeah, that's why they're keeping us under quarantine for a little bit. Of course we got the Mars thing going on, but that's just did you know that rover on the day it lands on Mars sings happy birthday to itself?
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's pretty cool.
It's cool, but another way that is like the most loneliest thing. Yeah. But they'll let that happen. But there is, they're not going to ever wonder why we never been back to the moon. Well, there you go. The moon thing, that's another thing. People saying it's fake. People saying that it happened. It's both. It is both. There's a time delay from the moon to us. That's common knowledge. Everybody knows that. There's like a 7-8 second delay from wherever they shoot it to get into us so we can see it. According to Dr. Stephen Greer and all them, there's an actual, I'm going to call it a city. They call it a base. I'm going to call it a city.
Oh, on the moon.
On the moon, on the dark side of the moon. And I'm going to call it a city because the way they make it sound is that place is so freaking huge that it's like a city. And, you know, and there's in those craters, when Buzz and all of them or whoever it was, they landed, Neil Armstrong landed on the moon. They got out. The first thing they saw was a ton of alien vehicles in those craters. Okay? And naturally, they are not going to let that be shown to the public. So when you see Buzz and all of them or whoever hitting the ground, they're walking around, that's real. But when you see, like, oh, how can the American flag be waving if there's no atmosphere? That's when they cut it over to where they was in the basement. The CIA was in the basement filming that. Okay, so it's like, okay, there's the vehicles. Okay, shoot over this, and they would cut in and add that in, and then cut back to where.
Well, you know, then they started saying it was wires in the flag.
That probably was.
Like they just bent it to make it look like it was waving.
Yeah,
and that's like, why would they do that in the first place?
Well, they did it sloppily, you know, and they were just splicing that in there so people would be like, oh, look, they're on the moon. Nothing's there. But really, they was like, okay, here's the moon. Well, they're showing something. Splice it with this. Okay, they're on the moon. There's something. Splice it with this. Yeah. You see what I'm saying? So that's.
That's not like anybody can go disprove that because you know it's on the fucking moon.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't just go out your backyard and disprove that or approve of it.
Again, this is what they're saying. I've also heard that Mars is hollow on the inside. There's a whole city underneath Mars. I don't know. See, that's what I mean. How can we prove that? This is just statements that they're saying. You know, people are coming forward. Oh yeah. Oh no, I saw photographs of this. So I'm just taking it with a grain of salt. But it's like I said. But most of the time, you can see it. He's done press conferences. He's went in front of Congress. He's briefed presidents and CIA directors. Okay, I mean, I'm talking about the guy. He's briefed these. He's had, because they don't know. The government doesn't know what the hell's going on. They call him to come over to brief them.
Now, how exactly does he know all of this?
Well, he knows it because he has protection. He has CIA protection simply because he's the one they go to brief. You know, the big dogs. So they give him protection in terms of they ain't gonna let nothing happen to him. They keep an eye out and they watch his back. He's like, okay, let me put it to you like this. This is the best way I can explain it. He'll have people call him up and tell him, hey, I got proof. I want to show you something. Now, this is in an unacknowledged. He'll say, he says it better than I can. I'm just giving you the brief rundown of it. That there was a senator or a congressman was going to, you know, come forward and reveal stuff and show him all kinds of stuff and everything like that. Dead in the Potomac River next day. Floating in the Potomac River next day, dead. So, I mean, you know, this stuff is real. You know, I mean, if you look it up on, you know, did this guy die? You know, Google it. Yeah, he's dead. He's freaking dead. They found him in the river. So it's like, wow. Okay, you know, serious stuff.
A couple of questions right off the bat.
Okay. What's your question?
How does he know the universe is at peace, first of all?
Oh, he has had multiple, and I do mean actually more than multiple. See, this is the part that makes me just like, I'm not one that really likes hippies or anything, but this is the hippie quality that's in him. He's into meditation and using the third eye and all this other kind of stuff. He knows the universe is at peace because he's been talking to aliens. He's had multiple visits, but now this is physical visits, not just meditational visits, you know, and he can actually interact with them through meditation. So it's kind of like, on that bit, I'm kind of like, that sounds so stupid, you know? But on the other hand, if it works for him, you know, like I said, I don't know. I have no proof that he's full of it. But he has had, they've come to his home. He's met them. I mean, he's had interactions with aliens and actually had conversations with them and stuff. What's your second question? You forgot?
Okay. So does he have any proof of him, like, meeting the aliens?
Witnesses, basically. He talks about it like in his documentaries, mainly YouTube. On YouTube, you'll see where he gives like lectures. I mean, he actually goes. This is not just like he has. There's two type of lectures that I've seen him give. One is like in just a room full of people, maybe 15 people in a room, and him. And then he'll give one that's in front of a whole college. There's like 300 people there. You know what I mean? And so he does this all around the country and everything. And what he's trying to do is recruit people to, because the let's call them the black bag government, the shadow government. They are out to cause war, and they want to because war makes money, and do all these not nice things to the aliens. And he wants to show the aliens that we are peaceful. So he is trying to establish some sort of a ambassador. He's named himself ambassador of the earth, to friggin' show the aliens, hey, we're not all bad. It's just this one group of people that's pulling some shit on you. So
he named himself the ambassador of
well,
earth.
he kind of is. He's the when you think
He
kind of is. It is true. He kind of is. He has like a lot of people around him, and some people go on these little UFO expeditions.
So to aliens, it's like the ambassador.
They know him. It's like Bob and Mike are flying their UFO towards Earth.
It just calls them up.
You gonna
whatever.
hang with Greer today? Oh yeah.
Yeah, I don't feel like hanging.
Yeah. But I would like to bring up some important topics. That is things to look out for in both YouTube and in the documentaries. And that is that I think these are useful tips and useful things to know. And here's a couple. One, our own government, the black shadow government has their own spacecrafts. Ever since Roswell, as it was said, we have the ability to take ET home. And this was back in 1950s, 1960s, okay? Imagine what we can do now, 40, 50, 60 years later. So, if you're ever being abducted and you want to know, well, is this a fake government, shadow government craft, or is this a real ET? Look for bulkheads, look for nuts and screws and all this other kind of stuff. That'll tell you whether, because an alien craft, real alien craft, is smooth all over. There is no deck plates or nothing like that. So I think that's kind of a useful tip. I never would have thought of that, to be honest with you. No. I never would have thought of that at all. Mm-mm. If I was being abducted, the first thing on my mind is like, God damn it, anal probe, here we come.
Fuck.
But I would never think, hey, look, this is, everything's going to be okay. This thing's smooth. Another thing is, like I said earlier, just a second ago, how advanced we've become. The shadow government, how advanced we've become. They've actually made ETs. They have made aliens. The alien itself is biological. Its brain is a computer. So they're literally controlling these things. They're puppets. They're literally controlling these things from wherever. And so that's the hard bit. You can't tell if what you're seeing is real or not.
Right.
So, but I think it's just really cool that they have these puppets that are aliens, and makes me think, do they have humans that are like that? That blows your mind.
And where do they get that technology from?
Aliens. That's why they're blowing them out of the water. They're hitting them. I think at first we was using.
So do you think the aliens created human puppets?
No, I think we've created human puppets.
Oh, we've created.
That's my thing. Is like, well, if they can create ET puppets, why can't they create human? There's no proof that they have. I'm just saying that would be kind of like, what's the difference? I would do it. You know, if you need an expendable soldier or something that you want surveillance, send one of the human puppets in there and see what's going on, you know? It's like a Terminator thing. He gets shot 50 times probably, and he's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's just a few things I thought were cool to mention. You can find out more information on that on YouTube with Dr. Stephen Greer, or on his documentaries, which sometimes are free on Netflix. I don't know, because Sirius was on Netflix. I know I watched it. I bought Unacknowledged.
Unacknowledged was good.
Yeah,
I liked it a lot.
it was pretty good.
Very good film.
Very, very good.
It's on Vudu, right?
I have it on Vudu. Yeah, you can buy both of these on Vudu. Vudu has everything.
Okay.
But if you want to go to free route or just
one of them was on Netflix for a while.
Sirius was on Netflix. That's the one I watched. I don't own Sirius, but I watched it on there, and it's pretty good. It's really good. Both of them are really good movies, documentaries. But there's a lot. There's so much to it, and it's crazy how much stuff there is. But like I said, I've sat there and I've watched whole hour-long things of him talking about.
He has a lot of videos.
Oh yeah, he has a lot of videos. Yeah, he has his own channel on YouTube, so you can look it up and subscribe to it, and you just see it for yourself. It's good stuff. It really is good stuff. Like I said, he'll bring proof. He'll show you proof, documents, and everything.
So I think it's safe to say Stephen Greer is a more reliable ufologist.
Yes.
Than the other guy.
Stan Romanek.
The guy down the block. Yeah.
My God. I think like
Stan Romanek,
Romanoff, whatever the hell his name is. Poor guy. I think something has really seriously happened to him. I believe, and I think also 90% of the crap that he's done is fake, and he's done it himself. I think he's a fake.
I want to believe something has actually happened.
Yeah, I believe something has happened to him. I just think he's going about. He's trying to draw attention.
He exaggerated too much.
Yeah, he's such
and then
he's got
it's just through the roof now, and he's lost all credibility.
Yeah, and he got found guilty of them child porn charges. By the way,
I mean, aliens he's been hanging out with. But.
Yeah, but little itty bitty aliens. But I mean, it wasn't. It's not actual. He didn't get.
He's not convicted.
No, he got convicted.
Oh, he did?
It's not child porn. It was something.
I thought he just got accused. I didn't know.
No, he was accused and he got convicted.
What is his?
So it's like
did he get probation?
No, he's gonna. They haven't sentenced him yet, but he's gonna be going away for a while. But it's not gonna be for long because it's like a lesser charge. It's like way down lesser charge of that.
Yeah.
But he has pulled fake crap trying to draw attention to himself.
Well, then
listen,
he done a lie detector test.
Yeah.
On Today's Show. No, it wasn't Today's Show.
It was something.
Well, who was it? Live with Jimmy Kimmel.
Was it?
I think so.
I didn't see it. I just
something. He did a lie detector test on some show and he failed it. And he said the reason why he failed it was because he had this little thing in his leg that the aliens implanted.
Yeah.
And
I've seen that.
It could cause him to, like, something in his body to act up, like a certain hormone or something, and it'll read the lie detector test on.
Yeah, it's bullshit.
He's got a lie for everything.
It's bullshit. But like I said, I seriously do believe something has happened to him. You could just tell. There's certain things like that formula. He came up with that formula for propulsion that you cannot make up. So, I mean, something has happened to him, but he's going about it the wrong way. He's trying to cause all.
I think he's trying to start like a fan base.
He's trying to do something.
I don't think he wants to inform people of what actually happened to him. I think he wants like a following kind of thing.
He might have.
He's wanting to capitalize off of it.
Yeah.
Where Greer is like the real stuff.
Yeah.
And this guy is like the Hollywood stuff.
Yeah.
He wants to strike a deal with somebody to make a movie about his life or something like that, and he can just live off of it.
It's not.
He's all the ridiculous shit he talks about.
He's not even good at it. That's the sad.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
He's not even good at faking it. That's the sad thing about it. But yeah, let's not waste no more oxygen on that guy. But yeah, it's good stuff. Dr. Stephen Gray. Oh, another thing I want to mention is what caught my attention is the timeline of what's going to happen to us. It has been proven. Everybody knows the oldest trick in the book that the actual government of the United States pulls on the people when they want to go into a war is we destroy our own people. The trade towers, 2001 or 2, whatever the fuck it was. 2001, yeah. When that happened, that was us bombing us. You know, we helped Osami get his people over here and get him into a plane and fly it in there. That was us doing that. Why? Because it got us into the war with terrorism. The same thing with that boat, the Lithuania, I think it was for World War One, and Pearl Harbor for World War II. That's just what the government does. We destroy ourselves in order to pump the people up to want to fight.
Right.
And so it's like the timeline went like this. It does go like this. And me being at my age, I can actually tell you, yeah, I could see it. I could see, because in the 80s, everybody was scared of nuclear war, the Russians and nuclear war and shit like that.
Oh, yeah.
That's what people were scared of. And in the 90s and everything like that, we had our little wars with countries here and there, and just little bullshit and things. And then turn the millennium, it went into terrorism. And now, terrorism, the war on terrorism is coming to a close. It has come to a close. And now it's third world leaders. Muammar Gaddafi, Saddam Hussein, and now Fat Boy North Korea. I hate that guy. They're these third world leaders. They're going down. Muammar's all poor Muammar's dead. And then freaking Saddam Hussein got hung. He's dead. And now we're going after Fat Boy, in North Korea. And that's it. When he's down, that's all of them. And so there's only one thing left on the timeline after that. And that is a faked alien attack by the shadow government upon us. More than likely, they're going to blow up a city or something like that with these fake alien attacks. And it's going to piss everybody off. It's going to unite the planet. Ronald Reagan, in one of his speeches, actually said this. Ronald Reagan said that he would take an otherworldly force to come threaten us, to get us to unite as one people. And when that happens, we're all going to want to fight the aliens who just want peace with us. They just want to, help us grow or whatever. More hippie shit. But, it's the shadow government that wants to fight them because they want to increase their budget from $1 trillion a year to 10. I mean, could you imagine? We're going to fight aliens, and who isn't pumped to want to do that? Just about every alien movie, Independence Day is the most famous one, that comes about. It shows us whipping ET's ass. It's just another way to pump us up to want to fight. That's just what we do. We're human. We have to have an enemy, and we have to fight. That's what we do. So.
Right.
But that conflicts with what the aliens want. They want us to be peaceful and come out and explore and all be friends, and it's that's not in our game plan. So that's why the Black Shadow government wants money. They want to be funded. They want to be able to expand themselves and get more and more and more and more. Get that technology from them. Why sit down and create it yourself when you just steal it? Out of crash ships. Oh yeah, it gets deep and it gets scary. I'm just giving you the fast, quick answers, the overview of it all. But it's like I said, seriously, highly recommend you go see it for yourself. This is what I tell my children. It's just like, don't believe me, go see for yourself and make your own decision. It just so happens that 90% of the time, 95% of the time, they agree with me.
I do agree with you on the. I do think that if they wanted to kill us or wanted to do any harm, they probably would have already done it.
They are not hostile in any sense of the way because they could easily wipe out every living thing on the planet Earth without even firing a shot. We would never see their face. All they have to do is just do something to the atmosphere, and we're done. And we're everything done under 5 minutes. We'll be done. So yeah, if they wanted to conquer us. If they wanted to harm us or any way or do anything like that, it would have been done. But they don't want to do anything to us. They just want us to just chill out. You got to remember these alien civilizations are like millions of years old. We're just starting. We're just getting on in there. So yeah, I don't see us stopping fighting or anything anytime soon. But whatever. It's going to be something. I just hope I'm alive enough to see it. The only sucky thing about it is I'm probably not going to be able to enjoy it.
Do you think they would fight back if we tried to fight them?
Yeah, of course they're going to defend themselves.
Or they just be like, puny.
I'm hoping they don't do anything stupid like try to just wipe us off the earth, but they're just not that way. I mean, if we came screaming maybe if we came screaming out of Earth with warships, they would probably smack us around a little bit, But I mean, I don't. They would stop us.
They would fuck us up.
Every video I've seen, especially with Dr. Stephen Greer, that it shows us, in planes and jets shooting missiles at them. They're all just They're all running away. They're all taking off trying to get out of Dodge. They're not trying to fight back or anything like that. And yeah. One cool thing that I like that Dr. Stephen Greer also talks about is the Phoenix Lights. I remember seeing that. I saw that live when it happened. It was the Phoenix Lights. I remember that it was so clear. I was all into that. That's the Phoenix Lights, for people who don't know, is over Phoenix back in the 90s. They're straight over the city. They're right in the middle, straight over the city. There was like 12 orbs in a pattern just above there, just hovering, just chilling.
And you seen that?
Right there. Yeah. Well, I mean, I wasn't there live.
Oh.
I remember seeing it on the computer and on TV.
I thought you were.
Kind of stuff. No, I remember it vividly. I remember it just kind of like, whoa, holy crap, look at this shit. It's like, there they are. It's just lights.
And what was the explanation for that?
I don't know. They downplayed it. The governor, if I'm not mistaken, I hope I'm remembering this right. I don't know. Don't hold me to this. But I think it was just kind of like the governor of Phoenix, or mayor of Phoenix, did something stupid. And he got on live TV and said, I have made contact with the aliens. We're all okay. And some goober stick.
He said that?
Yeah, but he was bullshitting because some goober stick came out in an ET uniform. And he was trying to make it into a joke. He was trying to play it off like it was a big joke.
Wow.
And people didn't take it as a joke. I mean, he really got his ass whipped. Not physically.
Pissed a lot of people off.
Yeah, pissed a lot of people off. But I don't think there even was an explanation. It just, yeah, there it is. Whatever. What are you going to do? And you know what happened? Nothing. That's exactly what I'm saying. That's exactly what I'm saying. Nothing. This is like the lights happened. And the press just flat out acknowledged it. Yeah, there's some lights. They're over Phoenix. There they are. Yeah. About a few million people saw it. And there you go. Back to you, John. I mean, what do these people have to do? Take a real alien and just get on TV? Hello, we're real. We're here. And people will be like, shit, look at that. That would be it. On to the next TV show. That's why, for some reason, I think we've been so. I don't want to use the word brainwashed, but we have been so just programmed to just look at aliens and go, there they are. Yeah, that's something. If you're there live, if there's one above the house and you get your camera, you're excited. Check this out. Holy shit, this is cool. And that's about as far as it goes.
Yeah, it never becomes a big deal whenever footage comes out that is obviously something we've never seen.
And then it's kind of like if you go outside, you're all excited. I'm getting this on video. Holy shit, I'm going to put it on YouTube. You put it on YouTube, you get a few 100,000 hits, and that's it. Then it just goes away.
It just suddenly stops.
The next day you go to work.
The views get a cap.
Yeah. The next day you go to work and you're just like, hey, I saw you.
A couple $100,000 of views in like 2 months, and then all of a sudden it slows down to like 1 view a week or something.
If you're listening to this and you were born back in the 70s or whatever, you will remember that all through the 70s, all through the 80s, all through the 90s, whenever people, and this was in regular TV shows that were, fantasy TV shows, this was in documentaries, this was in the United States military, this was everywhere you went, your friends, public. If you mentioned the fact that, I think I got kidnapped by aliens the other day, you were almost, ostracized, cast out as a freak. And he's messed up. Hey, the little green men, they would just laugh at you. Treat like the whole thing like you were just insane. There's no way you were kidnapped by aliens. So a lot of these people that did get kidnapped, they're just embarrassed to say anything. Because it was the shadow government. It took them a long time, but they finally got people to think that aliens were just a bunch of crap, and you're just an idiot. There is no alien life out there, and that's what they did for a long time. Then they just stopped, and they just let the momentum of it roll. And sure enough, every American out there, if you was back in the 90s and you said, "Man, I thought I saw a UFO," you were laughed at. Yeah. And you were treated like you were just stupid and insane, and it was like, next conversation, whatever. But so that's the government doing something in plain sight. That is them programming people to just, it's an embarrassment of riches. I mean, you get on YouTube, you will literally see 5,000-6,000 videos that they have, and all kinds of this stuff, and it just, it's just nothing. Desensitized. You know what it would take for people to freak out and do something and wake up, and is if a damn craft actually landed on the White House lawn.
On somebody?
Yeah. There was a show a long time back. They redid it and it didn't take off. It was called V. It was just the letter V, and what it stands for victory. It was these reptilian creatures that came from another planet. They came here for food. Us. We were going to eat us. It was an excellent show back in the 80s. I love that show back in the 80s. It was called V. That's it. It's just V.
Just V.
It's a red V. In fact, spray paint V. And they tried to redo it again, years ago, a few years back, and it just didn't work. It didn't happen. So they scrapped it. But that's what it would take for people to freak out and wake up and then just do something, be proactive in this alien thing. Is if aliens actually they just won each city over like hundreds of these things who just went all over the earth, covered the earth, spacecrafts. These ships that they came down in was miles long each, and they just hovered over Earth, and then finally they made contact. And I think if something like that was to happen, then people would be like, okay, they'd wake up. But until that happens, I just don't see us, for lack of a better term, giving a shit. Unless you're in the middle of it. But it's wild stuff.
Yeah.
It is wild stuff, man. When we start digging into this stuff, it is wild stuff. And very fascinating, though. Very, very fascinating. Then you may ask, why don't E.T. just land? Why don't he just show up? Why don't he just seriously just take a craft, come down here and say, hello, we're peaceful, we don't want any problems? Why don't they do that? And the reason for that is, there's a few reasons, actually. One, it would be because the Earth would split. The people on Earth would split into groups. You would have the group that would worship the aliens as gods. You would have the group that would want to fight and kill them on the spot. You would have the group that just didn't really care. So, people would, you see what I'm saying? People would all just splinter off, and it would be a lot of problems.
It'd be people making their own religion.
Yeah, you would have the people who love the aliens and worship the aliens. They'd be fighting the people who hated them and wanted war on them. Mainly the military would probably be that. And it'd just be a big mess. It really would. It'd be a big mess. And I could so see that happening. I really could. You know how people are. They would just flock to these creatures and treat them as.
You don't think we're gonna ever live together on the same planet?
I think it'd be fantastic. I really would love that.
I think it'd be awesome.
I think
Rick and Morty or Futurama.
Yeah.
Those universes where the aliens are living together with the humans. I think that would be
phenomenally awesome.
But
I just don't see it happening. I just don't see it happening. But could you imagine? That would be like the worst nightmare to the shadow government, as if, you know.
So is the shadow government, is that like the government's government? Basically?
These people, they answer to no one. These people, they basically tell the president what to do. You know, they're in charge of literally everything. Nothing is out of access for them. You know, they do whatever it is they want to do. There is no law. There's no law. They basically, you know, it's the billionaires and stuff like that, the trillionaires who are doing this. You know, they have dedicated their lives to this. You know, and it's good stuff. Kind of, I mean, that the X-Files. If you're a fan of the X-Files,
Oh yeah.
if you seriously paid attention to season 1 through 9, and you know what I'm talking about, that's what I'm talking about. The smoking man.
Yeah.
You know, and stuff like that. I'm not saying.
Did you see the new season?
Yes. I liked it. Yeah.
I loved it.
I loved it too.
Like how that government, it kept going like
Yeah.
deeper and deeper.
Yeah. It's I'm not saying there isn't people like the smoking man, but I'm saying that these are, you know, but you remember the group that would meet, you know, the smoking man was one of the people that would meet,
Right.
And there was, you know, you would see their faces. There's not really a name to them, but yeah, I believe that happens, you know, and it's just they have access to everything. They can just walk into the Pentagon and anytime do what they want, you know. And it's wild stuff. I really love it, you know. But it's I really love that kind of stuff, that espionage and stuff like that. But it's just, you know, it's like I said, I think they're playing with fire, and I really do hope they know what they're doing, because, like I said, all they have to do is destroy our atmosphere, and we're all screwed. Take comfort in knowing that if the human, as we perceive it, the human race all died. Take comfort in this. This is something else I learned from Dr. Stephen Greer, and I think I did know this. I kind of figured this, but I wanted to hear it, and I did hear it, and I'm happy. Okay, we piss off the aliens. They're saying, you know what, scrap it. They launch something. They destroy the atmosphere, and we're all dead. Everybody on the planet just falls over dead. It's one stinky dead planet. Okay, that's fine. The human race is still going to continue on, because according to Dr. Stephen Greer, there's a lot more planets out there that have human life on it. They, you know, people who get kidnapped and they don't ever come back, you never hear from them again. Stuff like that, and it happens a lot. There's colonies, they resettle other planets. So if something happens to us on this planet, well, you know, it's okay. There's about 200 other planets out there with a ton teeming with life, human life. So, you know, it's like they come here and they'll gather some people up, they'll kidnap people here, fly them to another place, and just dump them off. Yeah, and then
what would they do? They just
think about it. Think about it. You know, I mean, it's kind of like, I think it's smart on multiple levels. It's like, okay, here's the human race. Well, they may piss us off one day, and we have to wipe them off the face, you know, off the universe. And we have to blow the whole planet to hell. No big deal. It's not like we're committing genocide, because we have 200 other planets with humans on it. You know what I mean? So if we fail to make mankind listen here, who cares? We got them over here. You understand what I mean? And we can get them to, we can maybe coach them over here to do better than the ones here. You know, and it's just, yeah, that's actually kind of smart in a way, I think. You know, the movies, for example, like, remember Fantastic Four, the second movie, Silver Surfer, Rise of the Silver? How he was, I think if I'm not mistaken, he was taking animals and stuff like that off this planet so Galactus could come and drain it, and he was trying to save as much as he can. Better. Keanu Reeves, The Day the Earth Stood Still. It was a remake of the 1950s movie. He literally was those big spheres or whatever. Mm-hmm. Those were arcs and he would, go out, and he was, everything was being collected, and it was going into the ark thingy, and he was going to. That's what he was doing. That just makes this perfect sense. Why would you not? You understand what I'm saying? Why would you not want to colonize, like have mosquitoes and rabbits and whales and everything like that on other planets too? Just to, in case everything happens here, got them over here. So it's not genocide. It's actually saving. Maybe like the whales are going, we're wiping out the whales. Well, that doesn't mean all whales are dead. Just on this planet they're dead. They could be on other planets. So it's kind of smart. I agree with that. I think it's pretty good. Looking at it from their point of view, not so great for us when they decide, blow them out of the water. But yeah, I take comfort in it. I was like, okay, yeah, you know what? We're still going to go. The human race is, they haven't heard the last of us. But still though. I still, even if you did have, say, tons of other colonies, they're still human. And if you're taking them from this planet and you're colonizing them on other planets, they're still going to have that urge to fight. You understand what I mean?
Yeah.
But I don't know. I'm just thinking out loud. But they could just, maybe they're training them better on other planets to do better, not be so violent.
So on other planets, did they have like the same things we have, like Google or Instagram or Snapchat?
No.
Facebook,
it's just,
Apple.
Okay, think of it this way. I have this planet. It has trees, it has water, it has life, it has wildlife, it has birds, all that shit, right? Okay? And the whole planet's like this. It's not been touched by any kind of technology. It's just a planet flying through the universe around a star, and it's covered in trees, and it has oceans and all this other kind of stuff, right? All right. So it's perfect. It has an atmosphere. It's perfect for life, for our type of life. So I'm going to go to Earth, and I'm going to pick up, say, around the entire planet, I'm going to pick up 1,000 people. And that's a drop in a bucket when you think about 8 billion that walks this Earth. I'm going to pick up like 1,000. I'm going to take them over here to this other planet, and I'm just going to drop them off. Now, most of them are going to die. But, well, through trial and error, most of them are going to die. But the ones that survive, and they're going to grow from there. I mean, that's it. That's how they do it.
How would you even comprehend that, though? If you were one of the people that had gotten chosen to go to another planet,
it would be...
Wouldn't that just be kind of weird?
Yeah. It'd be very weird. It'd be like, shit. I would imagine it would be something, the shock of it, we would adapt, naturally. But the Predators, Adrian Brody in it, I imagine it'd be something like that. When he realized he was not on Earth, when he saw like 2 moons in the air and all this other kind of stuff. Did you see Predators, Adrian?
Yeah.
Brody? He was like, he thought he was in a jungle on Earth, and he looked up there and there was like 2 moons or something. One of them was real close, and he was like, "Holy shit!" So I imagine it'd be something like that. But then it's kind of like, it's kind of like, what can I do? I guess I better start making shelter. And it's because there's nothing you can do. You've been dumped off, and unless you can make a spaceship out of trees and you're there. You are there. And that's it. That's all there is to it. There's nothing to cover. I mean, you probably have a leg up. You probably have a leg up on like caveman, say, for example, because the caveman could use like gutter language and banging his head on rocks. But so you would have some sort of knowledge. We would have a clue on what to do. The chances of survival are pretty good. But
what about the different animals? How we would eat? Or do you think that they built a lot of stuff already on these planets for us to live in?
It might be. They may okay, from Earth we're going to take 50 bears off of Earth, and we're going to dump them off here and let them repopulate and then go there. We're going to get fish, or hell, for that matter. If you think about it, an animal is an animal. It doesn't matter what planet it comes from. It's still an animal. As long as that animal can survive in our environment, which means breathe air, drink water, eat shit, and all that other kind of stuff. As long as it does that, it probably tastes like chicken. So let's get this animal, let's get him from planet 9 over here, and we'll dump him off on there too, and let them evolve from that, and the humans can just deal with it. But hey, what is that? I don't know. It has 3 eyes and one of them staring at me. Well, stab it. Let's eat that thing. It tastes like chicken. So there are probably differences. There's probably differences, but in the long run, it's given us the ability to survive on those. Mankind. Now, this is off the top of my head. I don't know if he's ever said anything. I don't know if I believe Dr. Greer has said that there is other colonies out there. He didn't say a number, I don't think, but most of that, what I just explained, was just me saying it off the top of my head. Like, why not? See, I'm one of these people like, okay, they're doing this. Well, what if they're doing this? Take it a step further. Why if they're doing this? Bermuda Triangle, planes are flying over, a whole squadron disappears. Yeah, if you've seen Close Encounters of the Third Kind.
Yes.
Yeah,
one of my favorites.
When the little aliens that are like little, and then you have your tall aliens, the Greys, and when they came out, and then if you remember behind them, a bunch of World War II pilots were walking out. Haven't aged a day. And it's just so that kind of stuff is like, wow, yeah. Imagine if they just did drop them back off, took a whole squadron and dumped them off on a planet. Wild stuff. Wild stuff.
A lot of information.
Yeah, there's a ton more. I'm just giving you the brief stuff. Do your own investigations. Go to YouTube. Type in Dr. Stephen Greer. He will.
And it all starts there.
It starts there. When you start doing that, you start watching a few videos. And there's one channel that's not Dr. Stephen Greer that I kind of like. It's called Secure Team. I think it's just some kid, and he gets on there, but he has a lot of BS on his site too. But
is he another Stan?
No, not in the slightest.
He
has I believe he has a lot of crap on his site that wishful thinking and that kind of stuff, but he doesn't claim it to be 100%. He's like, make your own decision. For example, if Buzz Aldrin himself, for example, has said, when you look at one of the moons on Mars, you're going to see some sort of structure on there. You're going to say, who put that there? And his stuff like that. If someone passes this kid a photograph and it has something on there on Mars, like there's a face on Mars or something like that, he'll make a video about it and talk about it. And you make up your own mind. But he has a lot of cool stuff on there, and some of it's good, some of it expands your mind. Most of it's crap. but it's fun to live. If it's fun to kind of listen to him, and if a few things he says is true, then wow, it'd be great. That's what blows my mind. I get on AOL, I get on my cover page or whatever whenever I get online, and you'll see like the weather and this, that, and the other, and what Trumpy boy's doing, and all this other kind of crap. And hey, by the way, a decloaked ship just flew over a high school, and
ship's cloaking device tears up. It's like in the corner.
Literally, a ship comes out of the ocean at Myrtle Beach and flies off, and that's part of the news. And then you just go on the next page. It's kind of like, what the hell?
Okay,
that's cool. Desensitization. I don't even think I said that right, but you get the picture. We've been desensitized to this kind of stuff to automatically dismiss it. I do want to say this. This will be my final statement. I cannot stand how the one thing I can't stand about the alien thing is that when people like Dr. Stephen Greer and everything like that, the aliens have done everything. Humankind, as we've done good wiping our own ass. You know what I mean? They built the pyramids. They did this. They showed us this. They showed us that. They showed us this. It's like, has mankind not done anything for themselves? You know what I'm saying? It's like, have we not discovered and done things on our own? Whatever happened to the Thomas Edisons and the Madame Curies and all this other kind of stuff? No, I mean, if it wasn't for aliens, we wouldn't know anything. He says the aliens built the pyramids. And I'm like, come on, man. Really? I'm sure those 10 million Egyptian slaves. They're grateful for that. Yeah, I don't know. It's like, oh, we wouldn't have anything. However, I do agree with it. I think it has something to do with alien technology, with the way that technology has come forward. Like, you know, if you look at the 1950s to now, in 50 years, our technology has went from just getting cars to run, and this is the first car. Oh, check it out, we go over there. To, you know, freaking laptops and all kinds of wild shit that they got. Phones that are basically mini computers.
Robots that do surgery.
Yeah.
Sex robots.
Well, that's just new. But yeah.
That's just what?
That's new. That's just coming out. But yeah.
But still.
That by itself is very scary. I am no way, shape, or form. That's just too scary. But that's another podcast altogether. But
whole nother episode.
But I don't know. I like to think that the human race has done something on its own that didn't come from outside influence. But
I wouldn't count on them.
Yeah, probably not. Oh well.
Especially at the rate we're going.
Yeah. Especially at the rate.
Or lately in particular.
Mm-hmm. I'm hoping I will be able-bodied whenever this alien invasion shit happens. I would like to see it. I'd like to participate in it.
Oh yeah.
I mean, if it's an apocalyptic type thing, end of the world scenario, I'd like to be around for it.
Oh, yeah.
Knowing my luck, I'll die the day before it happens.
You die the day it happens.
Another 20, 30 years from now, you know, I'm like, well, damn it. Oh, the next day, oh, poor Grandpa. He missed it by one day.
He always spoke about
the alien invasion.
About this moment.
Yeah. Cool stuff.
Cool or scary? Or both?
Well, I myself, I think it's really cool, but I also think it's very scary. I always hope for the best, but experience has unfortunately taught me to expect the worst. So, yeah, I always hope for everything to be cool and for the best. And I try to stay on that track, but in the back of my mind, I'm like, wow, no, this ain't going to be something bad.
We may never know. Guess that concludes part 1.
Part 1.
B.
Part 1B.
There'll be 1C, 1D, 1E, 1F, 1G, and then we'll get into part 2.
Yeah.
C.
Yeah.
We may never know.
We may